This is Kyle Madsen with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Kings got blown out by the Timberwolves yesterday, 132-105. That ended their brief road trip. Buddy Hield led the way with 21 points. No starters played more than 18 minutes as Dave Yeager emptied the bench early on in that one. Sacramento's off tonight before welcoming in the Oklahoma City Thunder to the Golden One Center. That's tomorrow. And Week 15 of the NFL wrapped up last night with an ugly 12-9 Saints win over the Panthers in Carolina. New Orleans maintained their hold on the number one seed in the NFC, followed by the Rams, Bears, Cowboys, Seahawks, and Vikings. That's what the NFC playoff picture looks like going into Week 16. In the AFC, it's the Chiefs at the 1 seed. The Texans are currently the 2 seed, followed by the Patriots, Steelers, Chargers, and Ravens. It's 8:05. Peak Financial wants to talk retirement. Dial pound 250 and say the word money. Those are your top stories. Now it's time for Matt Barrows on the drive on Sports 1140 KSGK.
Rise and shine, sleepyhead.
I'm not letting you go to work today.
Wait, what?
Everybody, listen up.
Welcome to The Drive.
Morning, morning, morning.
You're gonna talk.
Get on the phone at 339-1140.
Pretty awesome, huh?
Jump in on our text line at 441140.
Everyone is talking about it. You must know that.
The Drive starts now.
Matt Barrows coming up next. Firewings Hotline. 21 different flavors to choose from. Firewings.com. Just wing it.
Hey,
Kyle's Cold Hard Facts coming up at 8:35. Brought to you by Coors Light. Yes, Kyle.
Oh, no. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to say what I was about to say for Cold Hard Facts.
Oh, okay. My head hurts.
Same. Did you go get a nice breather, get some oxygen at the break?
Ran outside and did
You got the opposite of oxygen.
did some burpees. Ran a couple laps. Did some pull-ups on the KHDK pull-up bar.
You didn't. That's Damien's. Leave it alone.
Sorry. Damien had the scarf go. We had a meeting yesterday. You missed out on some good
Damien's
barbecue.
outfit was dynamite yesterday, by the way.
Yeah.
I will not let you throw shade at that outfit.
Not throwing any shade.
It was a great
He
outfit.
Rolled in a scarf and Gucci shoes for the meeting.
And his blazer.
And it was some
A+,
sort of designer
dude.
glasses too.
A+.
I mean, come on. I was wearing a Ralphie Christmas Story T-shirt. Everybody got super dressed up because we had somebody from corporate come in.
And then there was you.
Super duper nice guy, right? That's one thing I love about this new company we work for is the guys who come out from corporate. They really are super cool dudes. Everybody's in like a suit and tie. Even our promotions guys are like, they grab the tie and put it on, and then our guy from corporate rolls in like a it was like a zip up hoodie vest. So it's just, nice dressy casual, whatever. Nothing crazy, no suits. I love when corporate people come in. Everybody gets so uptight. You gotta look good. You gotta look good. You fake it till you make it. It was good stuff. I like the company we work for, if you haven't figured that out. We'll get to, like I said, Kyle's Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Coors Light at 8:35. Some more of your phone calls as well. I would read the text line at this point, from the Jiffy Lube text line at 441140, but I can save you the time. It's either get off your high horse, Dave, the Kings gave up last night, or I completely agree with you, Dave, Kings fans need to chill out. I just love that we have these subjects to talk about. I love that the subjects are, we could miss the playoffs if.
Right. The Kings lost, and it was like, hey, they shouldn't have lost.
Right. They lost a road game to a team that made the playoffs last year. Hey, you throw it in the towel. I actually like that. One team that will not be making the playoffs this year. Although if they had playoffs for coverage of teams, I would say that the number one seed, Matt Barrows and the athletic team covering the 49ers would, in fact, have a bye. They wouldn't even have to write anything the first week, and then they'd have to submit their writing in the second round of the playoffs on their way to the Super Bowl of football coverage. You can check it out at theathletic.com, where you can curate your own page. You can pick your own favorite teams, so you get all their stories first, and they've got a ton of Christmas deals going on right now. The perfect gift for he or she sports fan in your family. Matthew Barrows, how are you?
No, I'm doing great. Yeah, we are sitting out our starters in Week 17. We just don't want any finger injuries, in late December. I mean, that would just blow the entire season.
You don't know what you're stepping into because the Kings sat their starters out last night. They played an average of 6 minutes, and everybody's pissed. Okay. So you just walked right into that one, Matt.
Yeah, I caught the tail end of that, and I smelled that something was amiss there. Yeah, I should have picked up on that.
Explain to me in layperson's terms, please explain to me, how does this 49er team beat the Seattle team, who, other than really the Chargers and the Cowboys, were arguably the hottest team in football with major playoff implications for them? How does Seattle come into Santa Clara, and lose to this lowly Niner team?
Yeah, I just think it illustrates just so perfectly how close all these teams really are. And, Seattle had played on Monday night previously. They won an emotional game against the Minnesota Vikings. They had just blown out the 49ers by 27 points. They have Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs on the horizon, and they're truly a rebuilding team just like the 49ers are. Some of the names that I was reading off my score sheet there, I just didn't recognize any of these Seahawks. So, there's some smoke and mirrors going on, I think, with their win streak that they had been on, and it was a bit of a reality check. And more than that, I think it was just a signal that any team. I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but there's something called Any Given Sunday in the NFL. Yeah, it's true. And any team can beat any other team. They're just so much closer than you think they are. And you saw that last night with the Saints almost losing in Carolina, and that was just a weird game. And the other part of this is that all of a sudden these quarterbacks that look like Greek gods just a few weeks ago are being brought back down to earth. And I don't know what that is, whether it's weather-related, whether it's just defenses need half the season to sort of warm up and catch up to these guys. But, boy, it doesn't seem like the Jared Goffs and the Patrick Mahomes and the Drew Breeses, certainly the Cam Newtons, are quite as good as they were just last month in November.
Matt, something that I've always I've been of the mind this season that some of the personnel on the 49ers defense was being exploited because they didn't have any semblance of a pass rush. So I thought their secondary is maybe better than it's looked because they can't get after the quarterback. We saw the pass rush was much better Sunday, specifically DeForest Buckner, and as a result, I think some of the guys on the back end of the defense played a little better. Was that a glimpse to you of what this defense can do with a dominant pass rusher on a down-by-down basis? Yeah,
I mean, and that's really the key is that they've got the middle shored up with Buckner. I thought that was his best game as a 49er, so his best game in 3 years came on Sunday. He was just in the middle of everything. Even when the play wasn't in the middle of the field, he was making plays on the sideline, too. I was impressed by him, and I had been a little bit leery of the idea of making him, the highest paid player on your defense. I knew that was coming, but I was always kind of wondering, do you want to make a defensive tackle, who's not an Aaron Donald type, the centerpiece? I mean, it just doesn't affect games like another position might, but. He changed my mind on Sunday. I mean, he affected that game, and when you add an edge rusher to that equation, everybody else is going to look better. I mean, even Tarvarius Moore, a guy who was a free safety at this time last year, who had to be thrown into the game. He looked good in the second half, and largely because Russell Wilson was not comfortable in that game. So, I think that is a glimpse of what, is to come and what the 49ers are hoping is to come once that defensive line gets shored up even a little bit more than it is right now.
Matt Barrows of The Athletic joining us. Matt, Kyle put together some numbers he threw out on Twitter, which pertain to the question I'm about to ask you. And these were on Nick Mullen's numbers if you extrapolated them over 16 games. What were they, Kyle?
Yeah, it was a 64.5% completion rate, 4,700 yards, 27 touchdowns, 16 picks, and an 8.6 yards per attempt.
So I want to bring you into a conversation Kyle and I were having yesterday, and I won't tell you what side I was on other than to say I was on the side that you're going to agree with. But
you were on the right side
yes.
of the argument. Okay,
Correct.
Got it.
The understanding, of course, I think anyone knows, is that Jimmy Garoppolo, if healthy, will and should be the starting quarterback next season. The question is, do you think Kyle Shanahan and company will allow Mullins to compete for the job come August, or is it Garoppolo and that's just the way it's going to be?
I think it's the latter. I mean, to hear Shanahan tell it, Mullins is going to have to fight for the number 2 job with C.J. Beathard, even though it's clear to anybody who watched the 49ers this year that Mullins is way better at this stage than Beathard is. Shanahan, I wrote about this during the week. Shanahan really likes C.J. Beathard and believes in C.J. Beathard and thinks that he's, Kirk Cousins-like. And in that, it's going to be a slow start for his career, but once he gets it, he's going to be very good. So I don't think he's given up on Beathard at all. I think he likes the idea of those two guys competing in the spring when Garoppolo is still coming back from that ACL injury, and sort of setting the tone of competition that I really didn't feel like the 49ers had in the 2018 offseason. And then the major thing is that Garoppolo is still in the learning phase of this offense. I mean, he needs the lion's share. This has been a lost year. He needs the lion's share of those snaps whenever he's able to get back into the swing of things, and can't be splitting them with anybody, much less Nick Mullins. So I know that Mullins is on a hot streak and he's got everybody's imagination going, but I really don't see that scenario happening in 2019.
Which is exactly what I told Kyle yesterday
Stop.
repeatedly.
And Kyle didn't listen to you?
Kyle,
Didn't listen to those sage words?
No, this is unbelievable because Dave's lying to you, Matt.
What?
I believe Dave.
Oh, wow. Unreal.
I'm printing out T-shirts that say I'm with Dave.
Let me just go real quick to the where is it? Yeah, let me go to the replay.
And
here.
Kyle's right.
Yeah, what did you say?
And Kyle's right.
Oh, and Kyle's right. I believe that's Matt Barrows' voice.
And Kyle's right.
Yeah, see, so in this case, Matt is siding with me. No, Matt, honestly, I just said yesterday that with what Mullins has done this year, I wondered if he deserved a shot at competing, but, $20 million and a lot of talent, I guess, speaks volumes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. It's the arm talent that's the real difference there, and the idea that in Kyle Shanahan's mind that once Garoppolo gets it completely, he's going to be able to do things in that offense that Mullins is just unable to do from a physical level. Now, we should be giving Mullins all sorts of praise. The throw that he made to Dante Pettis in the second half of that game the other day was phenomenal. It was just beautiful. It was perfectly placed. So he deserves all the credit in the world. He's a guy who's punching over his weight right now. But I think the lure of Garoppolo really, having his physical gifts paired with a deep understanding of the offense is too irresistible for Kyle Shanahan.
So just to clarify, you're saying that Nick Mullins is not as physically talented as Jimmy Garoppolo, and that's why Garoppolo. Okay,
Thank
good,
you.
perfect. Wow, that's
Thank
verbatim
you.
what I was saying yesterday. That's
Is
wild.
that debatable?
No.
No,
Unless
it's
you're
not.
Kyle
Thank
Madsen.
you, thank you, Matt. No, this is unbelievable. Speaking of guys who might start next season, two players who have really stood out to me over the last couple games are DJ Reed and Marcel Harris, two defensive backs. Are those guys, do you think, in line to snag starting jobs this year based on how they've finished this year?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're certainly going to be able to compete for them. The safety position is fuzzy right now. I'm not sure what the 49ers are going to do at that spot. One scenario is that you've got Jaquiski Tartt, who seems to be, custom built for that strong safety role. He's, 220 pounds and is a good hitter, but Harris has played so well there that you wonder whether the 49ers might move Tartt to the free safety spot. He's got the speed to play it. Question is, does he have the instincts to do it? And then keep Harris at strong safety. Harris has been great around the line of scrimmage. I was watching through my binoculars the other day, and there was sort of an innocuous screen pass that the Seahawks made, and Harris ran the guy down after a short gain, maybe a gain of 8 yards or so. And I remember Richard Sherman just running up to Harris and just giving him a huge hug and patting him on the shoulder pads and spending a lot of time with him after the play. And when you examined it after the game, it was because if Harris doesn't make that tackle, the running back goes into the end zone at a critical part of the game. He was the last line of defense and made a really, really strong tackle on that sequence. And that's just one of 65 plays that he was in, but it was a big one. And he just played so well there. Has been Johnny on the spot these last two games that I think that's definitely in the cards. He at least is going to compete for the starting spot next season. And then Reed, he just seems really comfortable around the line of scrimmage. I mean, he's a feisty guy. He's really strong. I agree with you. I think those two young guys have gone a long way toward explaining the kind of raised energy level and feistiness. I keep using that word, but that's who these guys are of that defense.
Matt Barrows of The Athletic joining us. So looking a little closer and behind the scenes, this wasn't just a win for the 49ers and a loss for the Seahawks. Richard Sherman has had an impact, and you've talked about it, both on and off the field, especially with this team. There'd been some yapping in the press back and forth. It appeared on television that the 49ers were not only happy to win the game, but happy to beat a divisional rival and happy for Richard Sherman. You were there and in the locker room. Is that accurate, that there was a little bit more than just an NFC West matchup last Sunday?
Yeah, absolutely. That locker room was very much alive afterwards, and Richard Sherman's voice was the loudest one coming out of it. And it was a huge monkey off the franchise's back, not having beaten the Seahawks in the last 10 tries. They hadn't done very well against his division, so on and so forth. I mean, to me, the biggest thing is that the Seahawks had everything to play for. The 49ers are decidedly focused on 2019. I mean, they come out and said that a number of times, but they were the team that won the game, that had the energy, that had the momentum. I thought it was a great win for Kyle Shanahan. I mean, it just underscores how much the locker room is behind him. I mean, with 6 games to go and then heading into their bye week, I mean, it was just so easy to lose this team, to lose the interest, and he made it a point at that point to say, we're really looking at these last 6 games to see who's going to be here in 2019. And the team has responded, and I don't think that you can overstate how important that is when you are looking ahead towards next season.
Well, and also, and I know that was more prevalent the week before, but you've seen a couple of heartwarming stories. Obviously, more in the Denver game with the untimely passing of Tony York, Jed York's brother, and you saw Jed's comments in the locker room that were also very touching.
Right.
Then you had again, much different situation, but the emotion of Richard Sherman in Seattle. Now, safe to say, you've got the Bears and Rams coming up in the next 2 weeks. If they win both those games, hello. But now we go back to kind of last year, different circumstance, but they also finished on a real good note and had everybody excited going into the offseason. I'm guessing at this point, Matt, it's draft pick be damned. Like you said, it's a tryout, and they're doing everything they can to change or to take momentum into the offseason. Yeah,
they are, and I think they'll use the 2017 flourish with which they finished the season as a lesson. I hope they will. All that glitters isn't gold,
right.
And what you do in December has no bearing on what you do in September the following year. I think one of the lessons is that they just didn't have enough competition during the off season, up and down the roster. I think that they were content to allow some of these young guys, Adrian Colbert, Akello Witherspoon, the list goes on, just to kind of ease into starting roles and not really push them. And despite that's why I'm a little bit hesitant to anoint DJ Reed or Marcel Harris, because I don't think the 49ers will. I think they'll want them to continue to push and to compete and to sharpen themselves, during the off season, because they were a dull knife when the season began, and that can't happen 2 years in a row.
Matt Barrows of The Athletic. Matty, what's coming up this week on your plate for all the Athletic readers?
Oh, we got all sorts of good stuff. It's like digging into your stocking on Christmas morning. Right now, I'm working on a mailbag. I'm always just so impressed by even this late in the season and with nothing to play for, how good people's questions are. I mean, they're really good questions being asked. They're Dave and Kyle level questions being asked, and so I'm busy trying to write sufficiently good answers to those questions right now. So that's going to be the next thing that I put out, hopefully later this morning.
Let's go. It's 2018, Matt. Let's go with person bag. Okay. I mean, I know that's,
we could.
We always appreciate you each and every week. I know we only have a couple weeks left with you, but always bringing the phenomenal coverage from The Athletic. And again, it is Christmas time. Go with theathletic.com. Check out all the deals they have. It is really, honestly, the perfect stocking stuffer for the sports fan in your family. Maddie, we'll talk to you in a week. Thank you as always.
All right. Talk to you guys soon.
All right. Take care. It's Matt Barrows. Also has a nice article on the Chris Kiffin experiment and Solomon Thomas. And so much more. DeForest Buckner this week, et cetera, et cetera. What was that, Matt? Did you have any last words?
Or maybe even February.
Okay, we'll take a break. When we come back, Kyle's Cold Hard Facts.
And Kyle's right.
He is right. Brought to you by Coors Light. We'll do that next, followed by What's on Tap right here on Sports 1140 KHTK. Kyle's Cold Hard Facts. Brought to you by Coors Light, coming up in just a second. One more highlight from yesterday, wanted to throw it in there. Happy birthday to Buddy Hield, and he celebrated quite a bit in the first half.
Gives it out to Hield. Hield in the right corner in front of the Kings bench. You have to put it on the floor. What's he going to do this time? He shakes. He drives. He shoulders inside, puts it on the glass, and scores again. Buddy Hield keeping the Kings more than alive in this first quarter. He has 16 of Sacramento's 17 points. And we're going to make that your Petkus Brothers moment of the game.
Thank you, G-Man. That is your Petkus Brothers moment of the game. Get the spectacular backyard you've always wanted with beautiful Petkus Brothers patios or sunrooms. The best price, best value guaranteed every day. Hey, what's that? I see now. It's Petkus Brothers. Kyle Madsen's Cold Hard Facts of the game. Kyle, just real quick, help me out. You do the show with me every single day. I was on Twitter during the break, which I shouldn't be, and some guy was saying that he appreciated what I was saying earlier about Dave Yeager, but he said he asked me, basically, I'm paraphrasing, but what happened to turn me around on Dave Yeager because I wanted him gone for so long? Am I getting senile? Was there a point where I
have never gotten that vibe from you.
I mean, I'm sure I don't remember every single show. I'm fairly sure, especially last year, there were times where I didn't see eye to eye with things Yeager did. I don't remember.
I've never. I have been around this show a lot over the last year and a half.
Yeah, a little bit.
And that's never the vibe I've gotten.
Pretty sure, if anything, I'm almost you'd put me in the Yeager Stan category.
Yeah, that's more the idea that the Kings were going to start 3-17 and Vlade and Yeager's jobs would be on the line at that point.
Right.
Came up because I
truly believe
fact,
it. Yeah, exactly.
But that you were not pro that happening
at all. I'm very pro this happening, including last night's loss. Unlike the text line from the 916, R.I.P. Kings 18-19 season, died December 17th. It was fun while it lasted. There you go. That's last night's loss. The start, probably the beginning of a. You realize this show, by the way? Can I just say how things happen? I'm actually the positive one.
Yeah, this is weird.
It's really weird. I'm the optimist. What the hell? That I do not like that. I don't like that.
This is strange.
This is against all my beliefs. Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Coors Light right now.
It's time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Fact of the Day. Here's Kyle Madsen.
That's Kyle from the 916. Coach Yeager could come to my house and murder my dog, and I'd still back him through next year. I'm going to disagree with that. I've got Maggie and Nacho, the Beagle and the Chiweiner. I think if Coach Yeager came to my house and did anything to my dogs, I would turn on Coach.
Yeah, I'd be pretty upset.
Be a little upset.
Like, first of all, how did you find my house?
Also,
secondly, what did my dog do to you?
And thirdly, probably need to also see how many games we've won at that point.
That's a fact. If he does that, let's go. Right. If he does that before Game 3 of the conference semifinals, you're probably fine with that. Like, if that's what it takes, you're like, hey, anything I can do to help the team, Coach.
Here's Maggie. She's a good dog. What's today's cold hard fact?
Today's cold hard fact is that the Cleveland Browns, going into Week 16, are still in the playoff.
Oh yes, I am here for Cleveland Browns playoff.
And here it is. Here it is. This is my favorite part about it. And I was trying to find a way to shoehorn this in, and I knew we weren't going to get to NFL playoffs today. So it's our cold hard fact. So the Cleveland Browns at 6-7-1. Here's how they make the playoffs.
Hold on, let me give you a bed. Let me give you some bed music here.
Here's how the Cleveland Browns make the playoffs. So they're the 10 seed right now. They're behind the Miami Dolphins, the Tennessee Titans, and the Indianapolis Colts. They need the Dolphins to lose out and finish 7-9.
Okay, I'm here for that.
Check that. The Dolphins can split. The Dolphins just can't win out.
Okay, so these are apparently Kyle Madsen's cold hard alternative facts.
So the Dolphins can finish 8-8.
Continue, Kyle and Conway.
The Titans are 8-6. The Colts are 8-6. The Ravens are also 8-6.
They are.
So the Ravens would need to lose out.
Yes.
Okay. The Colts and Titans would each need to lose this week, and then they play each other in Week 17, and the Colts and Titans would then need to tie to get them to 8-7-1. So that would put the Ravens at 8-8, the Dolphins at 8-8, the Titans and Colts at 8-7-1. The Browns win out. That gets them to 8-7-1, and all the tiebreakers and stuff puts the Browns in the 6th seed.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I'm saying there's a chance.
I am so here for that.
I need it. I need it mostly for the Colts and Titans to be playing for a playoff spot and end in a tie that boots them both out of the playoffs.
If the Cleveland Browns make the playoffs and go on to win the Super Bowl, where does that rank all-time greatest sports stories?
One? Okay, not greatest sports stories. All-time NFL championships. Sure. That's the top.
It's got to be,
and
right?
It'll never get beaten. They fired their coach in week 9 or 10 or whatever, and they had a 0.0003% chance of making the playoffs, and they did it, and then went to the Super Bowl with the guy who was kicked out of the league for 2 years as a head coach with a rookie quarterback.
Okay, if the Browns were to make the playoffs, does Roger Goodell have to ban Hugh Jackson for life from coaching?
No.
But okay.
I think Hugh Jackson will be de facto banned for life because I think that is a huge red flag.
It's a huge red flag?
Yeah, I think it already is, and I'm not sure he'll get another head coaching job. But
from the 530, Dave, what's your take on Manchester United firing Jose Mourinho? I'll handle that on Twitter. Let's keep the United talk on Twitter. Okay, Kyle.
Hey, if the Browns make the playoffs, are you and I all the way in?
100%.
Browns fans?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, I will throw my Chargers jerseys.
Baker Mayfield
side.
jerseys?
Yes. If the Browns make the playoffs, I will buy the both of us Baker Mayfield jerseys, and we will wear them. And Kyle, we will wear them on the show every day until the Browns are eliminated.
Okay.
Deal?
I'm in. Come on, Brownies.
Kyle. In 2001, a 7-foot bull shark bit off a boy's arm. His uncle not only saved the boy, but dove in after the shark, wrestled it to shore where the shark was shot. He retrieved the boy's arm, and it was sewn back on in the hospital. Don't know if you knew that or not. Also, a trivia question for you. Kyle is furiously trying to get a soundbite going. Oh, you're not? Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you're doing something over there. It threw me. Kyle, please guess how many hairs are on the average human head?
Mine, 0.
Average.
Average human head, 200,000 hairs.
Not bad. 100,000.
Oh.
Not bad, though. In the United States, there are actually more Chinese restaurants than all the McDonald's, KFC's, Burger Kings, and Wendy's put together.
Stop. No way.
I'm telling you. It's on the computer, so it's true. If you said, dude, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, that's what you were looking for. I knew you were looking for the Jaws theme. Oh wow, the Jaws techno theme.
Oh no.
Oh
It's
no,
even
this
better than
is
that.
Jaws.
Oh,
No,
it is.
no.
I just ruined a lot of days.
You suck. I want to see if I can. Hey, no, leave that up. I'm going to see if I can do this. Oh, damn it. No, I can't. Whether you have kids or not, I just got this song out of my head like 4 days ago.
I'm sorry.
Is there an instrumental version of this? That
I'm sure there is.
We should use that.
Because this beat is a banger, dude.
We should. This song slaps. We should use this as
it's
our
the drive do 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 do.
Yes.
It's the drive do 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 do.
I want this to be our new rejoiner, or not rejoiner, our new promo bed. Whenever we do promos. Speaking of China, there are more English speakers in China
Than in the U.S.
That is correct. All
That's
right.
banana sandwich.
Last thing. If I were to say, dude, it'll take me like 1,000,000 seconds, about how long is that? Just off the top of your head.
Oh my gosh.
1,000,000 seconds.
1,000 minutes.
How many days?
13 days.
Oh, man, you're pretty good. 11 and a half days. 1,000,000 seconds is 11 and a half days. Finally, what would 1,000,000,000 seconds be?
Oh gosh. A lot of days.
Yeah, a lot of days.
About 100 times, 1,000 times.
Okay, so I'll give you a
1,000,000.
hint. It's at least a year, possibly 1,000 years. It's between that, but we're talking years.
Isn't it 1,000 times whatever 11 and a half is?
Probably.
11,500.
1,000,000,000 seconds would be over 31 years. Wow. You know what's crazy about that? That means for those people out there that have $1 billion.
Yeah. So about 31.
No, sorry, that's not what you said.
11,500
No, you were wrong.
days.
You were so wrong.
11,500 days.
If a billionaire who had exactly $1 billion spent $1 a second, it would take him 31 years to spend his $1 billion. Yeah, imagine that. That's crazy. We'll take a break. And he probably wouldn't have.
$1 billion is so many dollars.
Yeah, it's a lot of dollars, dude. It's a lot more than $1 million.
That's so many dollars.
I would be fine with that. Give me $1 billion and never see me again. When we come back, what's on tap? Brought to you by somebody. We'll let you know what's going on this evening, which is basically nothing, so we'll screw around until 9 o'clock. Right here on The Drive, Sports 1140 KHTK.
Here's what's on tap.
Yeah, not much. Not going to lie to you. Not much on tap tonight. You got a handful of basketball games, probably highlighted by Denver hosting Dallas at 6 o'clock. There's no football. Jose Mourinho got fired as Manchester United's manager, so of course we'll be breaking all that down all afternoon. By the way, What's on Tap is brought to you by
Hoodies.
Hoodies. When it rains, those non-hoodied people.
Sorry about it.
Sorry. Sucks for you. Get yourself a hoodie today. Kyle Madsen has other things.
Yeah, we're giving away a family 4-pack to see Monster Jam, the most action-packed motorsports experience for families in the world. Coming to the Golden One Center on January 18th through the 20th. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. You can also get some right now. Caller number 5 gets a family 4-pack to see Monster Jam. All KHTK giveaways are powered by RosevilleAutomall.com. That's the 5th caller gets those.
That's KHTK giveaways. How about something KHTK would like to take up to Butte County? It's another chapter in our Do One Thing extravaganza, whatever you want to call it. The fires are done, at least for now. They are put out in Butte County, but we keep saying this is where the real work begins, and it's the toughest thing. And this isn't a shot at anyone. It's human nature. When it's on the news, when it's in front of your face, that's when it's top of mind. But now is when people are going back to their homes and trying to pick up the pieces. And you can't do everything for everyone. But one thing that I think we can all agree on is kids need to go back to school, and it's tough enough for a kid to learn these days, much less learn in what amounts to mostly trailers and little mobiles that they have to go to school in up there. So we've joined with the Sac Republic today and tomorrow. And the promotions team is sitting out front at 280 Commerce Circle collecting school supplies that we will be driving up in caravan number 3. That's this Thursday. We'll be going to Butte County directly to their Department of Education and handing them a number of things. Here's what we're collecting. Backpacks, notepads, pens, pencils, binders, markers, clipboards, crayons, paper, other general school supplies. You know what those are, and we have the entire list at KHTK.com. All supplies, please have them be new, and we will give them to students of all ages. Gift cards are highly encouraged. They can the teachers themselves, they can take the gift cards to the local, be it a Walmart or a Target or wherever. I do know there's a Walmart up there in Chico that we visited. Those are absolutely encouraged as well. We'll be out there from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. both today and tomorrow, and then leaving for Butte County on Thursday. If you have any questions, you can hit me up at Carmichael Dave on Twitter. I understand you guys have to work. There's Christmas shopping going on. It's a very, very busy time. If you have the ability, just to do what you possibly can and swing it by here today or tomorrow, that would be very, very appreciated and put to good use. Let's see. From the 916. All right, we'll switch from something serious to something entirely stupid here. Yes, Kyle.
Real quick, I just wanted to jump in. You mentioned people, work and that want to donate and can't get down here.
Yeah.
If you want to come by, what time's our promotions team start?
8 a.m. to 6 p.m. today and tomorrow.
If you need to come by before 8 a.m.
Sure.
And drop stuff off, there's a gate. If you're facing the building, the gate's on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
If you drop stuff at that gate, shoot us a text or give us a call at 339-1140.
Run down
if you want to
grab
come
it
before 8 o'clock, I'll run down and grab it.
Well said, especially for people, man, I think that rant at 7:30, that voice is starting to go. Ugh. Just need a couple more days out of this voice. Give me 3 more days out of this voice, and I'm good. To the text line. Let's analyze the statement of Carmichael Dave. Give him $1 billion, you never see him again. That's a lie. Dave would buy the Kings, plays himself center court front row. He would no longer care about appearance and would become a bearded, smoking Jabba the Hutt from the Return of the Jedi sail barge. We would see him every day on our flat screen, sweaty, dirty, and Jabba laughing. Give Dave $1 billion at the perils of your eyesight. Well, I'm going to tell you why. You bring up a good point, but you're wrong. $1 billion would not buy the team. Now, if you gave me $5 billion, I'd have enough to buy the team and have enough money left over. $1 billion would not get me this ball club.
Yeah, I don't. And if I had $1 billion, I don't think I'd want to invest in a team.
Depends on how much. Now, if the Kings,
I don't want to work that hard.
If I could buy the Kings for $750 million, nay, $900 million even, and I could save the $100 million to completely be a rich person, I would absolutely. My dream is I would love nothing more. If I invented some tech company and sold it for $5 billion, the first thing I would do is I would kick down Vivek Ranadive's door, give him a big batch of flowers, and say, "What?" I would be the worst negotiator.
You'd be like, "I have $5 billion. I'll give you
pretty much
4.9." I'd
be like, "Dude, what is it? What is it going to take? I know you're not trying to sell, but everyone has a price."
You would be single-handedly responsible for destroying the market for NBA teams.
I really would. It would be an entirely. I would want to, and that's the thing though. I'd want to have enough money left over because I don't want to just buy the team. Be like, oh, I don't have, and have to pay.
Right, you need to hire the right people.
Right, and I need to, have payroll.
That's it. If I was gonna buy, I would just if I was gonna buy the A's, let's say.
Yeah.
And I bought the A's, I would just be like, now everybody just do what you're doing.
Yeah, but if you had $1 billion and you bought the A's, you'd still have $950 million left over. I mean, it's a different story. It's a totally different story with the Kings.
I see what you did there.
You see what I did? I want to. My dream is to make enough money to buy the Sacramento Kings. My nightmare is very close to that. See, there is a thin line between dream and nightmare because my nightmare is to make enough money to buy the Sacramento Kings and be a horrific owner. And then have everyone in my hometown hate me for life because I'm the James Dolan.
Yeah. You would be courtside in your Kings hockey sweater.
Right.
Good professional he is.
And how great would it be? And I think I'd still keep my radio show. I would be the owner of the Kings, and I would still keep my radio show, and my rants would have a lot more effect.
Yes. Yeah.
Come on the next day. I don't really agree with everything the coaches did last night.
Contentious relationship between the coach and front office. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, hello. I bring myself on to interview every day. How would that work? Do you think
I bet you could nail down Adam Stern then for sure.
Adam Stern?
Adam Silver.
Okay. You just married the last two commissioners.
Yeah, I did.
That's well done. Can't wait to talk to Roger Tagliabue. That's Kyle Madsen in there. We appreciate him gutting it out. Eunice will probably be sick tomorrow. We appreciate her and all of you. Jim Rome is next, followed by The Lowdown and Grant and Doug. Enjoy the rest of your broadcast day on Sports 1140 KHTK. Bye now.
Since 1994.